Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Lucid, and it's time for another episode with Bogarus. Last episode, Grip and I were talking about our big plan to catch Arco. And yet again, Arco has foiled our plans. And by foiled our plans, I mean he has refused to engage us when it seems to me that the obvious move would be to engage us and crush, free up his fort, crush our armies. But where we would secretly take a fight and win. So I'd be interested to hear, and Isataris is mostly playing Arco right now. I would be interested to hear how, for all these little traps we've set, we kept giving him the opportunity to walk into engagements that we would win. And he's called it perfectly. And the few times when we have backed off, down here, we were thinking about moving up. If we had moved up, we would have attacked, but I was worried I didn't have enough gems to handle a gem bait in a normal attack. He didn't gem bait me. He just walked forward with the army, and we would have crushed it, I think. I think he was doing foul vapors or something too, which I had a guy here who I think could have cast Serpent's Blessing, but I've just been shocked. I've been absolutely shocked. So yeah, this turn we had a little bit of horror attacks. We had this one go on top of his army, and we didn't get any flyers this time again, which we kind of wanted. We can see a bunch of wooden warriors going down. There's nothing really super interesting here in terms of the script, and I don't think he has gems, so these guys are yeeting the front line pretty good. Legions of Steel, we're going to help a tiny bit against these. And these guys have pretty good protection, by the way. 22. Not going to help with Gifts of Heaven, though. 22 protection, not so good versus that. Yeah, the Gifts of Heaven doing some work. We're still, getting the occasional dude here and there. A lot of his own guys are falling asleep from these sleep clouds. And this float cat horror stayed alive for a little bit. So, all in all, we killed one of the mystics. I didn't actually show it to you, but this was blood damage reversal from, I think, these guys. And I think he had some gear on him too. But otherwise, we've killed 3 sacreds. We've killed 10 hoplites. And we killed, some of the other chaff in this army. All in all, not really great. But, we keep rolling the dice. If we get the right mix of horrors, I think it will kill this. Hard to say exactly what that mix would be. But basically, if we can get the mages gone or routed or anything, any of the flying horrors, especially if we got 2 of the flying horrors and they jump in the back line and rout some of the mages and kill a couple of the others, all of a sudden there's not enough mages, because the mages did most of the killing here. We look at how many kills things got. Oh, it must not be giving them credit. Well, it says the troops got most of the kills, and that does add up. I could have sworn from watching the battle the Gifts of Heaven was killing a bunch of stuff, but anyway, I think if we get a critical mass of these mages, this army dies. But I could be mistaken. This is kind of cool. Patala Magic Phased Attack. This is one of their heroes. It is the Golden Naga. And it is a really cool hero. It can do a lot of things. It can do Moss Body. It can Magic Phase Attack. It can do Phoenix Pyre. Body Ethereal, a bunch of that stuff. It is vulnerable to Magic Duel. But, it's on Patala. They have a ton of Astral 1 mages, so if they deploy it carefully, it won't die to that. Anyway. Let's see what he does. Foul Vapors. Moss Body. Personal Regen. Blessing. I don't actually remember what their blessing is. Oh, Reinvigoration Blood Surge. That's right. Maryland also has a series up where he's the elves. And, you know, I mean, the elves are basically dead now, but they're doing a pretty cool last defense. If I haven't already, remind me, and I'll put a link to it at some point. I mean, we'll put it in the description for this one, but you can go back and watch the battle. But yeah, so the foul vapors, they end up scaring this guy off. This guy had, I think, like a frostbrand or something. He almost dies. He gets down to like 2 HP and doesn't die. But the foul vapors kills a few of the Volas, so. Okay, and then down here, this is us just attacking. And there's not much present. Arco pinging with the scout. I guess this is like, because this is attacking a province I have PD in. I'm not exactly sure what he was planning here. Because maybe he just wanted to see, let's see where this is. What was he doing? I guess he was, this army was here before. I guess he wanted to see what was in this army. Anyway, now he knows because we've attacked with it. But we're going to keep moving it around, I think. So we ping this. TNG's attacking with the Barb Heavy Horseman and then an Ancestor Guide. I can't remember what the Ancestor Guide does. I think he does Horde of Skeletons. Oh, he's got an air gem. This looks like he might have been doing Power the Sphere's air elementals if he ran into heavy resistance. So this is a pretty clever little script. And it's enough horse dudes that if there's not heavy resistance, like it's only a few PD, it's not going to trigger gem use. So that's pretty clever. I like that. This is our Bane going underwater. Sadly, there's nothing here, so he's like way over geared. We'd prepared for like 20 PD. And then there's a battle in Garillion. And this is a kind of cool thug that we haven't seen before. So this, I'll tell you what this is. This is one of his Orphic Mystics, I think, that he has taken underwater, and while underwater has cast Transformation. And this has given him an amphibious size 4 chassis. And he also did Twiceborn. Probably did Twiceborn on land or in the human form. And then did Twiceborn, and now he has this interesting little mage. Who's a pretty good thug. This is a really cool way to use Mystics. Not something I would have ever thought of. He probably did it underwater, because on average, I think you get a little better chassis underwater. So, pretty cool. And he's got a Shade Mail, so he's going to be really hard to catch. And a Snake Bladder Stick, which is going to be very effective against PD. And he can do personal regen and stuff, so... How is he getting 6... Oh, yeah. That's a lot of regen. But yeah, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, he's going to be hard to catch. We can Mind Hunt him. That's probably the easiest way to kill him. He doesn't have very high MR. We look real quick. I think it's like 17. It'll be pretty easy to kill. I don't have Evocation 9, though. 9, 6, which is when you get Mind Hunt. Okay. Yep, Land's regrowing. That's a rebirth event. Tax minus 50. You know, it just goes to show we're getting so many events from the game in provinces that don't have our Dominion yet. It's a little tilting. Brigands have taken up residence in the ruins. That's a little annoying. And then we have our Firebird events, which this one's a bad one. Lose population, gain resources. We don't care about resources anymore, so it's 1% of our population. And then we had a good event. We found 1,000 gold, and we got Stymphalian Wings and some gems, 4 gems. So that actually opens up some kind of funny things we could maybe do. Stymphalian Wings are normally kind of like, they're good items, but they're just normally too expensive. But they give you fear and trample and flying. They hurt your attack skill, though. But potentially this would actually be good on a golem. You can see they're super expensive. If they were cheap, they'd be good. But I think we put this on a golem, and their protection is not great, by the way. It's okay. But I think we put this on a golem. We can give it, you know, maybe a few other things. A hat to make it bigger. And I'm not sure what else. You know, like a shock shield and a few other bells and whistles, and it can be really, really hard to deal with. But we'll see. There's a bunch of kind of weird ways to abuse golems. Okay. So that is basically it, I think, for all the events. We had Alexei, the patriarch, appear. And he's a kind of weird dude. He's going to free spawn Callisti. These guys, who are horrible, and we're going to have to figure out ways to go run them off to suicide. He's good for two things. One is he's going to be, like, our only death blood guys are either going to be occultists, which are death 1, blood 1, or our Staretse, which are, at best, well, normally they're only going to be death 1, blood 1 also, but at best you could get a random of another blood. So there's a chance we get a blood 2, death 1, which is basically the same paths as this guy. So he's basically going to be our best way to get vampire lords. We're not quite at that point yet. And quite frankly, I don't know how soon we go for vampire lords, because there's a bunch of other blood fuckery we want to quote Sai. That's not my French, that's his. That we need to get online. Our horror cannon is already pretty good. It's going to get better. We'll ramp it up a little bit. But we're going to... So, like, what is it we need to get our horror cannon going? Well, it's more blood and astral boosters. To get... Now, the blood boosters, the cheapest ones, is obviously going to be the blood thorn. But then we're basically pigeonholed into doing blood boosters. Into doing Sinless or Horror. If we get some of the bigger ones, some of the bigger blood boosters, we can potentially do some of the other things if the case is appropriate. Like Infernal Disease. We can snipe some commanders with this. To do this, we actually are going to need one of our angels, our fivefold angels, and she is going to need all 3 blood boosters, which if you think about it, it's really expensive. It's like 100 slaves and boosters just to enable casting this. And I think we're going to ramp that up because if we're not casting Infernal Disease, we can use it to cast Sin Lesser Horror as the blood booster for that. So it's going to give us flexibility. Anyway, but it's going to take a lot of slaves. So instead of us like, oh, let's get vampires or something, we're going to build up a kind of a decent amount of blood boosters. Okay, what else? As we get way down here into Blood 9, you get Send Greater Horror. This is pretty expensive. Honestly, I think this usually is not worth it. However, if you want to pound in army and not raid, but you actually want to pound an army, if you have a lot of these casters, it can be really strong. Let's think through real quick what it would actually take for us to cast this. So it's Blood 4, Astral 5. What that means is really, realistically, the only people we're going to want to have cast it are probably our Astral Random Staretse, which we don't have many of. We don't have many of at all. Yeah, this is our only one we've gotten so far. So we want to get more Staretse, but so once we have them, though, they're going to need 2 Astral Boosters. So that's going to take up a head slot and a miscellaneous slot. And then we're going to need 2 Blood Boosters. So it's going to take up a chest slot and a miscellaneous slot. Or a chest slot and a... Well, either of these slots, really, because we'll have both of them free. And a hand slot. So that's actually not too hard to do. And it's really going to be more limited by the number of Astral 3 Staretse we have. And the Astral 3 Staretse are going to be important for mind hunting too, potentially. Yeah, that we can do that. Actually, I don't think we do the mind hunt with them. I think we probably mind hunt with our Kelendologists. So, I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, the Astral 3s are not for the mind hunt. The Astral 3s are going to be for Master and Slave tricks. So there's a lot we're going to be needing Natural 3s for. I think they're so important now. We're going to get this guy. After this turn, our cap is only Starezza. We've kind of been... We shouldn't have been doing as much of this. I mean, we needed to get a critical number of these guys out, and then I needed to get enough people to do reanimation. But here you can see they're not even casting it because we end up needing these death gems to fight Arco. But point being, the times of not getting Starezza every turn in our capital, I think, are over. Unless we need to get some eparchs, but we probably won't. Not for a while. And yeah, let's talk about the situation over here with Arco. Wait 1 second, actually. All right. Sorry, and that second I just ran off and ate breakfast. Breakfast was ready and I went. One thing I noticed when I came back is I didn't talk about any of these site searching, and we had horrible luck with remote site searching. But Voice of Apsu is kind of coming in clutch. We found a well of white water, which is an enchanted well, which is +1 water gems. I think we found another one somewhere. Did we not? Maybe we didn't. Anyway, that's pretty good. And we've talked about all this. So back over here with Arco, he didn't take our bait. He didn't run into this army, which I think would have won. So I think what we do here is we basically bring everybody and prepare to fight and crack this fort. One thing I don't notice, and we're going to do 2 turns in one episode, is there's actually not a lot of supply on this fort. I just assumed it's like a high population province. There would be a decent amount of supply, but there's not. This place has my Dominion in it, so it has a fair bit of supply with the growth 3, but not having growth here has really affected the supply. So we're going to end up starving a little bit next turn. But yeah, we're moving everybody in. What's nice is, so Grippa had talked me into not obsessing about the disease site and just moving this army here and saving a turn. And sure enough, we only got 1 guy diseased. So very much worth. And we're going to move these guys here on top of this fort. But yeah, I don't think there's much he can do this turn for fighting. What I think he's going to do is I think he's going to take both of these armies and consolidate them here and bring enough gems and probably his whole mage corps that he can handle being gem baited and then fight me on this fort. That's what I expect. What we're also going to do is we're going to hit both of these provinces with horrors. This guy actually, I changed the orders. He's going to attack and retreat. This guy's going to sneak and attack. And yeah, we're going to hit both these with horrors. This one I'm pretty sure we can take because this is just hoplites and wolves. This is pretty weak. It's not showing me any of the mages, which I'm a little annoyed by, if we're being completely honest. And this one, yeah, it's not showing me the mages too. I expect there's more mages here with this one because I feel like these guys can kind of hide. I mean, I don't think there's enough dudes here to really hide mages, but there's enough dudes in this army I could understand maybe at hiding some of them. But if we look here where we've got a scout, we can see there's clearly a fair number of mages. So I don't know. If these are completely unmage supported, there's a decent chance, especially if they don't get blessed, that the horrors can kill them. And just being able to take out some of these heart companions, I feel like is totally worth it. So we're going to go for a shot of that. We're also going to hit this with horrors and then come here. This dude, I'm thinking that he's going to mind hunt us. So we've taken the gems off. We've left this on so that if he gets mind hunted, he'll be okay. And we're scripting, or we're just having him run away. We're doing a bit of PD, but not much. And I'm recruiting one of these guys so that if the mind hunt comes through, it'll save this guy. And this guy's moving back here. We're just trying to be a little bit unpredictable, catch raiders, keep this guy checking his cap. And it's going to be very hard. If he kills this with a major commitment, that's fine. But it's going to be very hard for him to kill this with a very low commitment thing, I think. I mean, that's not true. There are probably low commitment things that kill this. But it's going to be tricky. It has to deal with 2 earth elementals. It's going to have to deal with skelly spam. And it's going to have to deal with archers pelting it. That's just not a super easy thing to deal with. And then if they kill a bunch of my archers, I don't really care. It'll be annoying if they kill all my mages, but... Yeah. The other thing, too, is because this guy's got Shade Mail, I'm pretty certain he's not going to attack me this turn. And if he does, he's getting hit by a horror anyway, which he'll have to, you know, so he's almost certainly going to stealth out. Because if he doesn't, he's going to have to fight a horror, which will probably kill him. And, yeah, but then I have to catch him next turn. So next turn, it's like, and he actually can move really far, so he could potentially do deep raiding. We're going to be picking up, and I'm actually going to change this next turn. We're going to hit Alt 8, then we're going to go for Evocation 6. It's going to give us a lot of things. It's going to give us Mind Hunt, so we can pick this guy off if we need to. But it's also going to give us Wailing Winds, which is really important. I mean, it also, because don't forget we're an air nation, it's going to give us Storm and Thunderstrike and Wrathful Skies if we need to. So there's a lot of potential weird little things we can start getting ready to do, you know, if we need to. Yeah. So that's it for this turn, guys. We're going to go ahead and do it. This is going to be a twofer. Well, no, we're at 20 minutes. We're at 20 minutes. I think this will just be a short recording. So we'll see you next time. Next time, we're going to talk about hopefully storming this fort, and we'll see what events our Firebirds roll for us. Take care, everyone. See you next time.